Hi, I'm Caroline, and this is my kitchen. I'm going to be showing you today how to make a wonderful dish that we often like to serve with our company and on special occasions. It's called a Cashew Penne Casserole, and it involves organic penne whole grain pasta. Now, we use organic everything in this kitchen, but if you choose not to use organic, obviously you can certainly do that. We're going to add some mushrooms to add some nice nutrition. The sauce is made from raw cashews, believe it or not. Starting with these, and a food processor or a high-powered blender such as a Vitamix turns these into a wonderfully luscious, creamy sauce for this casserole. I have to give credit to Mary McDougall for getting me started on this one. This is one of the recipes from the McDougall program out in Santa Rosa, California. We've tweaked it a little bit to suit our taste here in my family, but this is one of our favorites. I choose usually not to make this during the week because by the time I get home from work, I'm hungry and I want to eat now. So while this goes together really easily, it takes about 45 to 50 minutes to bake in the oven. And that's just too long for me on a weekday. So this is either a weekend or a special occasion dish for us. So let's get started. First thing is to start our pasta. I've got one 12-ounce box here of a whole grain, whole wheat penne pasta. Now if you don't have penne pasta and you have something else around, you can use that too. I just find that the casserole is easy to put together and holds together nicely with the penne. Next, we're going to saute 1 cup of chopped onion and 1/4 cup of vegetable broth. This is a low sodium. You can tell I've got the pan nice and hot. And we'll add our chopped onion. And the idea here is to just get the onion nice and sweet. We're going to just saute it until it's soft, and then we're going to add this to the rest of our ingredients in our food processor to make our cashew sauce. So while that's sauteing, let's move over to our food processor here, and we're going to start with the cashews. Again, this is 1 cup of raw cashews, and this gets a little loud, by the way, as you're about to hear. So we're going to pulverize these just for about 30 seconds or so until the cashews are a nice fine crumble, and then we're going to add the rest of our wet ingredients to make our sauce. The onions are coming together nicely. The pan was nice and hot, so they're already looking good. So this is our starting up our cashew sauce. As I said, this gets a little loud. To be almost the consistency of a cornmeal. Doesn't have to be flour-like, but a nice fine crumb. That looks good. Okay, now let's add the rest of our ingredients for the sauce. So we're going to take our onions and let's add those. I don't know about you, but I love the smell of cooking onions. Okay? And now we're going to add, we have here a total of 1 3/4 cups of water. I'm going to add just half of it right now, and then we'll add the rest of it in just a minute. We have here 1 15-ounce can of cannellini beans, white beans. There are other types of white beans out there. These are the only ones I've tried so far in this recipe. They blend up really nicely. You can certainly try other white beans if you have them on hand. I've drained them and rinsed them, and we'll add those. We have 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. We tend to use a low sodium soy sauce here. We have 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. We have 1/4 teaspoon of a dry mustard and 1/4 teaspoon of a smoked paprika, which is one of my favorite spices. Once you start using this, you're going to want to put this in so many different dishes. And we have 1 tablespoon of a white miso, which is a derivative of the soybean. There are other types of miso out there. There's a red miso, which is a little bit more strongly flavored than the white. I like the white. I've used the red in other recipes, but in this one I like the white. So we're going to use 1 tablespoon, excuse me, of white miso. Pardon the fingers. Alright, so we've got all of our ingredients in there. We have a little bit of the water reserved. We're going to add that in a minute. So let's start this. Now I can add the rest of the water. Take a look. Oh, that looks beautiful. No little bits of cashew left. That's nice and smooth, just the way we want it when we add it to our penne pasta. Now there's one more thing I like to add to this casserole, and that's mushrooms. By the way, this is one of my favorite tools now that we've become a vegan family. You're going to be finding, as you embark from the old way of eating to a newer, healthier way of eating that includes lots of veggies and fruits, that you're going to be chopping. And this is one of my favorite tools. I got this for Christmas about a year ago, and I use it all the time. So we're going to just chop up our mushrooms. This is about a 9-ounce container's worth of white mushrooms. Again, these are organic. I know you can buy mushrooms that have already been washed and sliced in the grocery stores. For some reason, our store doesn't carry the organic mushrooms as sliced and washed. Go figure. So, I'll wash them and slice them, chop them up with the Chop Wizard. And these things are pretty inexpensive too, so I highly recommend investing in one. Look how nice, and they all look so very even, if you're into that sort of thing. So we're just going to add this along with our sauce and our penne pasta when we put the casserole together. And we're going to top it with some fresh whole wheat breadcrumbs, which are going to make a really nice crunchy layer on top. Actually, it's one of my favorites, my husband's favorite parts of the casserole. And we'll be back in just a second as soon as the penne is ready, and we'll put it all together. Okay, we're back. The penne is done. I've just drained it, and we'll get it started with our sauce. So here are our mushrooms. Those will cook up nicely when they're in the oven. And our luscious, luscious sauce. This is so good. Just give it a stir. It's amazing how when this cooks in the oven, it all comes together in a nice, solid, chewy mass. I just love it. It's got a lot of chew to it, and the flavor's fantastic. Okay, so this is all nicely combined, and I have a casserole dish here. I did spray this with just a little bit of cooking spray to keep the casserole from sticking. Pasta can be a very sticky substance. And we'll add that in. And then, don't forget the breadcrumbs. I just took a couple of slices of our favorite whole wheat bread that we get from a local bakery here, and I put it in the food processor just before we started cooking. Made a nice fine crumb. You can use dried breadcrumbs if you like. But I just love the flavor of this. This bread is so wonderful. It's a sunflower whole wheat, and it's just really great. And what happens in the oven, obviously, is it gets nice and crunchy on top. So there we are. This is going to go in a 350-degree oven for about 45 to 50 minutes, and then we'll be back and see how it looks. So it's been 45 minutes at 350 degrees. And let's take a look at what we've got. Ooh. Oh, that smells so good. It's golden brown and the breadcrumbs are crunchy on top. And it's bubbling around the edges. Oh, I love the smell of that. So we'll let this sit for about 5 minutes before we serve it up. And I think tonight we'll have this with some lemony dill green beans on the side and follow it up with an apple raspberry cobbler for dessert. Thanks for being here. Bye.